In a significant escalation of tensions in the South China Sea, Australia has formally protested what it deems an unsafe and unprofessional encounter involving a Chinese fighter jet and an Australian military surveillance aircraft. The incident, which occurred on February 11, 2025, involved a Chinese J-16 fighter jet releasing flares that passed alarmingly close, within 30 meters, of an Australian P-8 Poseidon surveillance plane operating in international airspace. Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles characterised the action as reckless, stating the J-16 was so close that there's no way you could have been able to ensure that the flares did not hit the P-8. Had any of those flares hit the P-8, that would have definitely had the potential for significant damage to that aircraft. Thankfully, the P-8, which typically carries a crew of 8 to 9, was undamaged and no personnel were injured. In response to Australia's protest, China's foreign ministry defended the actions of its pilots, claiming that the Australian aircraft had deliberately intruded into airspace over the disputed Paracel Islands. Spokesperson Gui Jiaquan described China's measures as legitimate, lawful, professional, and restrained, underscoring the increasingly fraught nature of military encounters in the region. This latest incident is part of a broader trend of military confrontations between Chinese and Australian forces. Notably, Australia had previously accused a Chinese J-10 fighter of engaging in unsafe behaviour in May 2024, where flares were dropped in the vicinity of an Australian Navy helicopter, prompting evasive manoeuvres. Similarly, in November 2023, Australia reported a close encounter with a Chinese destroyer that posed risks to divers recovering fishing nets from an Australian ship. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts to improve bilateral relations, military interactions remain perilous. The Australian government has reiterated its commitment to freedom of navigation and overflight in accordance with international law, while asserting that all nations, including China, should operate their militaries safely and professionally. Experts warn that these incidents highlight a dangerous pattern in the South China Sea, where rising military tensions are exacerbated by overlapping territorial claims. Recently, the Philippines has also reported aggressive actions from Chinese vessels, including a blockade against a Philippine patrol ship, further complicating regional stability. As Australia continues to enhance its military capabilities, most notably through a partnership with the US and UK to acquire nuclear-powered submarines, these incidents signal an increasing urgency for all parties to engage in constructive dialogue. The recent protests, while reflective of ongoing tensions, also suggest an opportunity for both nations to recalibrate their military engagements to avoid potential escalations that could lead to unintended consequences. Looking ahead, the international community will be watching closely to see how both Australia and China navigate this intricate geopolitical landscape in the South China Sea. In a significant move to bolster its economic environment, China is taking decisive action against what it terms illegal investigative actions targeting private enterprises. This initiative comes amidst rising concerns about the stability of the country's economy, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing geopolitical tensions. A report released by the Supreme People's Procuratorate on February 13, 2025, revealed that prosecutors issued over 6,500 directives aimed at ensuring correct law enforcement during the previous year. Notably, this included the withdrawal of 400 criminal cases deemed improperly filed against private businesses. Du Shuai, the head of economic crime prosecution, emphasized the importance of these measures, stating that addressing profit-driven law enforcement is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the judicial system. Opportunistic law enforcement practices run counter to fair justice and severely undermine the credibility and authority of the judiciary, Du noted, highlighting the potential damage such practices can inflict on the business climate. The context for these actions is multifaceted. China is grappling with a post-pandemic economy characterized by high youth unemployment, sluggish domestic consumption, and an escalating trade war with the United States. As part of its broader strategy to restore confidence among private enterprises, which are viewed as vital for economic vitality and job creation, Beijing is keen on establishing a legal framework that protects the rights and integrity of these businesses. This crackdown on improper legal actions reflects a broader commitment by the Chinese government to enhance the business environment, an essential factor for attracting both domestic and foreign investments. The tightening of regulations comes at a time when the government is under pressure to deliver economic stability and growth, particularly as it navigates a complex international landscape marked by rising tensions with major trading partners. While the government has made strides in rectifying its legal processes, challenges remain. The international community continues to scrutinize China's human rights record, particularly regarding its treatment of minority groups and political dissent. As the UK and China engage in renewed diplomatic dialogues, the balance between economic engagement and human rights advocacy will be critical in shaping future relations. Looking ahead, the Chinese government's efforts to reform its legal framework and improve the business environment will likely persist, especially as it seeks to adapt to both domestic pressures and international expectations. The outcomes of these initiatives will be closely monitored by analysts and investors alike, as they may have far-reaching implications for the country's economic trajectory and its role on the global stage. In a bold move to invigorate its economy, China is embracing what it calls the Snow economy, a strategic initiative aimed at leveraging winter sports and tourism to drive growth, particularly in its Rust Belt regions. This development was underscored by President Xi Jinping during a banquet marking the commencement of the Asian Winter Games in Harbin on February 7, 2025. Xi declared ice and snow are as valuable as gold and silver, emphasizing his vision for the winter sports sector to become a cornerstone of high-quality development in the northeastern provinces. The push to capitalize on winter sports is not merely a nostalgic nod to the past. It is a calculated effort to stimulate economic activity in areas that have struggled with industrial decline. With plans to promote snowboard lessons, winter homestays, and innovative products such as self-heating ski socks and snowmaking machines, the government aims to cultivate a vibrant winter tourism industry. This initiative aligns with broader efforts to diversify China's economic portfolio, particularly as it faces challenges from both domestic slowdowns and international trade tensions. As the country pivots towards winter sports, it is simultaneously witnessing significant advancements in technology, particularly in artificial intelligence (AI). The recent unveiling of DeepSeek's low-cost reasoning model R1 has reignited global interest in Chinese tech innovations, which are increasingly seen as vital to enhancing productivity in the face of a diminishing demographic dividend. Ding Shuang, chief Greater China economist at Standard Chartered, stated this could ignite a wave of innovation and accelerate the pace of AI development, which is important for enhancing total factor productivity. As AI continues to evolve, its applications across domestic industries may well be the key to sustaining China's economic momentum. However, these advancements come amid renewed trade tensions with the United States, which have escalated as President Donald Trump's administration imposed a sweeping 10% tariff on all Chinese imports in early February. China's immediate retaliation included tariffs on U.S. crude oil and agricultural machinery, setting the stage for what many fear could become a protracted trade war. Experts suggest that such conflicts often yield no winners, with American consumers likely facing higher prices while China's economy remains vulnerable to the fallout. Despite these external pressures, China has reported a 5% GDP growth rate for 2024, surpassing 130 trillion yuan, $17.82 trillion for the first time. This growth is seen as a testament to the country's resilience in navigating a complex global landscape filled with uncertainties, including geopolitical tensions and a sluggish economic recovery worldwide. The International Monetary Fund estimates China's contribution to global growth at around 30% last year, further solidifying its role as a vital stabilizer in the international economy. The Chinese government has implemented a series of incremental pro-growth policies to bolster domestic consumption and investment, which are critical given the current economic landscape. These initiatives, praised for their unprecedented scope and depth, have been instrumental in fostering a V-shaped economic rebound in the face of earlier downturns. Looking ahead, China's economic strategy appears focused on not just recovery but on establishing a sustainable and high-quality growth model. The emphasis on technological innovation, especially in sectors like AI and winter sports, alongside targeted domestic policies, positions the country to navigate challenges more effectively. As China continues to refine its economic strategies and explore new avenues for growth, the interplay between its domestic initiatives and international relations will undoubtedly shape its trajectory in the global arena. In summary, China's embrace of its ice-and-snow economy and its commitment to technological advancements signal a comprehensive approach to economic revitalization. As the nation strives to overcome both internal and external challenges, its ability to innovate and adapt will be crucial in determining its future role on the world stage. In a significant diplomatic development, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has embarked on his first visit to the United Kingdom in a decade, signaling a renewed commitment to strengthening ties amid a backdrop of geopolitical tensions. Speaking at the inaugural UK-China Strategic Dialogue since 2018, Wang emphasized the importance of free trade and multilateralism in navigating the current global landscape. His visit comes as the UK, under the leadership of Prime Minister Keir Starmer, seeks to adopt a more pragmatic approach toward China, moving beyond the confrontational stance that characterized previous administrations. Wang's remarks in London underscored a desire for enhanced dialogue and cooperation between the two nations. He asserted international cooperation and great power cooperation have become more urgent and important, and called for both countries to fulfill their responsibilities as major global players. He advocated for a collaborative approach to address pressing global issues, emphasizing the necessity of political solutions and win-win cooperation. This call for unity comes at a time when both nations are grappling with various challenges, from economic uncertainties to security concerns. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy welcomed Wang's visit, expressing optimism for discussions on a wide array of topics, including economic collaboration and national security matters. He acknowledged that there are areas in which the two nations may not always align, particularly concerning human rights issues in Hong Kong and Xinjiang, as well as China's perceived support for Russia amid the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Lammy's comments reflect a cautious but hopeful stance, indicating a willingness to engage with China on critical issues while also addressing concerns that have strained bilateral relations. As Wang Yi and his delegation engage in dialogue, the broader implications of this diplomatic thaw are noteworthy. The revival of the UK-China strategic dialogue could pave the way for increased economic cooperation, particularly in trade and investment, which have been hindered in recent years due to geopolitical tensions. With China being one of the UK's largest trading partners, both nations could benefit from a renewed focus on economic collaboration, especially in sectors like technology and green energy. However, the road ahead is fraught with challenges. The legacy of strained relations looms large, and the UK government must navigate a complex landscape of public sentiment and political pressures at home. Concerns over human rights abuses and security risks associated with Chinese investments continue to resonate with British lawmakers and the public. As the Starmer government seeks to balance economic interests with ethical considerations, it faces the delicate task of fostering constructive dialogue while addressing legitimate concerns. Looking forward, the outcome of this revived dialogue will likely depend on the ability of both sides to build trust and address contentious issues head-on. The prospect of increased economic collaboration is promising, but it will require a careful balancing act to ensure that both nations can pursue mutual interests without compromising their values. As the global landscape continues to evolve, the UK and China must find common ground to navigate the complexities of a multipolar world, setting the stage for a more cooperative future. In conclusion, Wang Yi's visit marks a pivotal moment in UK-China relations, one that could redefine the dynamics between the two nations. As they embark on this renewed path of dialogue, the international community will be closely watching how both countries manage their differences while exploring opportunities for collaboration. The future of this relationship remains uncertain, but the revival of the strategic dialogue offers a glimmer of hope for more constructive engagement in the years to come.